Think about it. For thousands of years, humanity has been trapped behind an invisible wall. Not a wall of stone or steel, but a wall of words. The language barrier has ended empires, it sparked wars, and it has absolutely stalled human progress. But right now, literally as we speak, that ancient wall is being demolished. And it's not being torn down by diplomats, it's being dismantled by artificial intelligence. Welcome to our documentary explainer on the post-linguistic revolution. We're going to explore an invisible architecture being built all around us, one that is quietly but surely erasing the need to learn foreign languages entirely. But as you're about to see, tearing down this wall comes at a staggering, deeply hidden cost. So let's dive into this. Just look at this headline for a moment from South China Morning Post. This is the news behind today's video. Will AI kill English classes? Chinese university to drop them as tech booms. The institution will replace English lessons with intercultural communication courses as translation tools bridge language barriers. With that said, let's go straight to the intro. The algorithm buries channels that show the truth like mine every single day. The only thing that fights back is you. One like, one subscribe, turn on the bell icon. That's how the truth about China survives on YouTube. Don't let it disappear. Thank you very much. This brings us to a chilling new reality that researchers are now calling the algorithmic turn. Imagine this. We've entered a world where you can speak Mandarin, I can speak English, and the silence between us is instantly filled by near-perfect, high-fidelity AI translation. It's like magic, right? But here's the dramatic realization. While the West is still fumbling around with outdated grammar apps and flashcards, this real-time translation tech is making traditional language learning completely obsolete. It really begs the question, are we outsourcing a fundamental part of our human cognition to silicon? Well, to answer that, we have to look at who is actually driving this turn. So here's our mission for this explainer. We are going to track the unseen tech that changes everything. Because trust me, this isn't just a story about some cool, glowing earbuds. This is a story about a calculated, highly secretive strategy for total global dominance in a post-linguistic era. We are going to uncover how China didn't just join the AI translation race, they completely redefined the finish line, leaving the rest of the world entirely in their rearview mirror. And the very first major piece of evidence? It lies in a truly shocking institutional pivot. Act 1. The educational masterstroke, demolishing the English major. To really understand the technology, you first have to understand the mind behind it. Back in July of 2026, the Shenzhen University of Advanced Technology made an announcement that sent shockwaves everywhere. They were officially phasing out traditional English requirements. Why? Because they realized something profound. Rote memorization of foreign syntax is a complete waste of human cognitive resources when a tiny little microchip can do the exact same thing in half a second. And the sheer scale of this national pivot is just staggering. 12,200. Between 2021 and 2025, China ruthlessly cut or suspended over 12,200 undergraduate programs. That is roughly 30% of the nation's total degree offerings, completely wiped out in a cold, calculated move. They're actively demolishing standalone language degrees to prioritize STEM, engineering, and technological self-reliance. They're treating language merely as a technical utility now, not a cultural hurdle. So you might be wondering, what exactly are they teaching instead? Well, they're replacing standard grammar drills with something called intercultural communication, or ICC. Because AI translators are by nature emotionally empty, these universities are now training an entirely new generation in what they call social poetics. They're teaching students how to read hidden meanings, how to negotiate, and how to maintain a cultural poise that is, quote, neither arrogant nor humble. They've realized that syntax is totally commoditized, so they're letting the AI handle the heavy lifting of verbs and nouns, while the humans are trained specifically for high-stakes, nuanced engagement. It's a real game changer. You simply cannot execute a massive educational pivot like that without the physical engine to power it. We are talking about highly advanced, virtually invisible hardware sitting quietly inside the ears of millions of people worldwide. A massive industry secret was actually revealed when Guangzhou-based Havit noted in 2026 that Chinese engineering teams have shipped the firmware stacks used in 50% of the top translation earbuds globally. That is half the entire market. This means that even if you are wearing a non-Chinese brand of translation earbuds, you are very likely running on secretly licensed Chinese-engineered infrastructure. They don't just want to win the consumer market. No, they want to own the underlying infrastructure of how the entire world talks to itself. This highlights a massive tactical divide in translation tech right now. On one side, you have these massive cloud-based online engines. Sure, they boast up to 95% accuracy across over 100 languages, but they harbor a fatal flaw. They are incredibly vulnerable to data dead zones. Contrast that with offline mode. This is on-device, zero data required, heavily optimized for around 13 essential language pairs. While US-made earbuds become useless paperweights the second they lose a Wi-Fi connection, Chinese-made hardware comes heavily packed with these offline models. For the serious business traveler flying at 35,000 feet or someone navigating a remote village, this data-independent reliability is really the only thing that actually matters. To put this into perspective, think about how this plays out in extreme conditions. During a brutal 11-hour 737 airplane cabin stress test, we're talking 82 decibel engine noise, crying infants, sudden PA announcements. The Chinese-made Time Kettle W4 Pro absolutely crushed the competition. It delivered translations with a near instant 0.6-second latency. Meanwhile, the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2 lagged behind at an average of 2.0 seconds, and the Soundcore Liberty 5 Pro Max dragged out to a highly disruptive 3.2 seconds. And if you've ever used these, you know anything over 2 seconds feels like a broken tape delay during a real conversation. Time Kettle's hybrid architecture proved for sure that it's in a league of its own when the environment turns chaotic. Okay, so we've seen the incredible speed and the undeniable strategic genius behind this tech, but outsourcing our language processing to silicone, it comes with a terrifying neurobiological cost. A truly chilling 2026 MIT EEG study revealed that when we actively learn a language, we increase our brain's gray matter and actually delay the onset of dementia by about 5 years. But when we rely entirely on AI earbuds, we risk gray matter atrophy. The study proved that leaning on these devices causes weaker neural connectivity, completely erasing that 5-year neuroprotective delay against dementia. We aren't just losing a skill here. By removing the cognitive struggle of language, we are actively weakening our brain's biological defense systems. And honestly, the threat isn't just internal. It's playing out right now in real-world life or death scenarios. Algorithmic translation is failing exactly where we need it most. In healthcare, there is a staggering 33% error rate in low-resource languages like Haitian Creole, which has directly led to hallucinated medical advice and dangerously omitted medication dosages. Over in Geopolitics, even a 1.5-second translation delay is causing severe diplomatic tension. You see, algorithms operate strictly on statistics, not human intent. That leads to a complete loss of cultural hedging and nuance. When machines lag genuine human empathy, relying on them for critical diplomacy or emergency healthcare is a massive, unforgiving gamble. The future of connection, beyond fluency. So, what does this all mean? What is the core realization we absolutely must take away from all this data? Raw linguistic fluency is functionally dead. AI has completely commoditized the mechanics of language, but because AI cannot feel, it cannot build trust, and it definitely cannot read a room, deep, authentic human empathy has become the ultimate premium currency. The future belongs to those who possess linguistic agility. People using AI for the heavy lifting of vocabulary while leveraging their own irreplaceable human instinct to bridge the distance between different worldviews. Which leaves us with a lingering, profound question. Are you ready for a world without language barriers? If the machines are doing all the talking, what exactly does it mean to be human in this new reality? The wall is coming down, but what we build in its place is entirely up to us. If tracking the unseen tech that changes everything fascinated you today, here are your next steps. Hit that subscribe button to join us for our next documentary explainer, and drop a comment below. I really want to know what you guys think. Is abandoning language learning the smartest strategic move of the decade, or is it a tragic loss of our humanity? Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the future. Goodbye.